Welcome to fight predictions for the inaugural UFC on ESPN card tonight, February 17th, presented to you by the Unknown Experts. We will be returning soon with a new format, a new podcast, seeing as my partner in crime, Roger Muka Knowles, is kind of busy with his family life and everything. We're going to be figuring out how to go from there. But for the time being, we're going to just hook you guys up with some premium fight predictions for the entire card of, like I said, the inaugural UFC event on ESPN Prime, their main channel, the ESPN. So first and foremost, we have Alexandra Albu, who fights on average once a year. She's undefeated at 4-0, taking on Emily Whitmire. I think this is Albu's fight. She's got that style of just all power in her takedowns and likes to stand and brawl. I don't like how she keeps her chin so high up, though, so she could get clipped. I don't think Emily's the one to do it, though. I think Albu gets this done by decision. It's going to be a brawly fight, though. Then Jessica Penne is going to be returning after a couple-year hiatus, at least. It's an interesting fight. Penne is taking on Jodie Esquibel. Let's say Esquibel. I'm picking Penne here because she's fought much better opposition in her tenure on the pro circuit. Then we have Henan Barrow all the way on the prelims, or maybe even the pre-prelims. I don't know which order the third fight of the night will be on, but Barrow will be taking on Luke Sanders, and Barrow's lost his last three. He's never been the same since the TJ defeats. He squeaked out one win, I think, in the interim. Nevertheless, he could surprise us with his reach, but he doesn't like to use it that much. He's more of a wily Muay Thai striker. But he's taking on Luke Sanders. You got to go with Sanders here. I think Barrow's done. Then we got Scott Holtzman versus Nick Lentz. Lentz is a little longer in the tooth. He's got a little bit of reach on Holtzman, I believe. I think it's Holtzman's fight to win. It's more of a toss-up than most of the other fights, but go Holtzman on that one. Then we have KGB Andrea Lee versus Ashley Evans Smith, famous from the ear popping incident, or not ear popping, the ear getting ripped off from the head kick, and also getting choked out on that bulldog choke. But you got to go KGB Lee here. She's a blue chip prospect. I think she's going to run right through Smith, probably a TKO or submission in the second or third round. Then we have the toss-up of the night, 50-50. We have Benito Lopez versus Manny Bermudez. They're both undefeated. Lopez is a Team Alpha male guy, so he's going to be wrestling heavy. And Manny is a lack of a better word, a submission grappler. I'm not sure where he's training out of, but he's a guard player. He's got a lot of triangle finishes. I'm leaning towards Manny because I know Benito, being an alpha male guy, is going to be relying on the wrestling, so Manny should have a lot of opportunities to lock up that leg triangle, or pretty much anything from there. You could even sweep him and get top position to work for the arm triangle. But I'm leaning towards Manny, but this is a 50-50. Benito could just as easily and is more likely to kind of just wrestle fuck him and just lay and pray him until the third round is over. So I'm going Manny, but if you're gambling, I'd say go Lopez. Then we got Long Island's own Aljamain Sterling taking on Jimmy Rivera. Rivera's only dropped 2 fights in his professional career, and Sterling is a special guy training out at Team Serra-Longo, but I think Rivera gets it done. Unanimous decision, going the distance. I mean, the only way this one stopped before that is if Sterling stuns Rivera, just like Marlon Moraes did. But I would go Rivera here. Then you got Miles Jury taking on Andre Touchy-Feely. Every time every time Jury steps up in competition, he gets knocked back down. Feely's got a couple of name wins under his belt. Not like big names, but we're talking like B minus level guys. And whenever Jury tries to step up to fight A level guys, he gets knocked back down. So I'm leaning towards Feely, touchy-feely in this one. I can't help but say it that way. Then we got Vincent Luque versus Brian Barberena. Barberena's got a couple of impressive wins on his resume. He's beat both Ellenberg brothers. I know that Kobe Covington's beat him, Leon Edwards has beat him. He's got a win over Sage Northcutt. So, take that or leave that, depending on how you feel about Sage. But personally, I'm going to go with Vincent Luque on this one. Mainly because he's on a 3-fight winning streak. He also got beat by Edwards, but Edwards is a level above both these guys. And he was the guy who Vincent Luque was the guy who knocked out Bilal Muhammad after Muhammad showcased how strong his chin was in the previous fight in his debut, where he had a head kick, a spinning head kick, and a bunch of shots and didn't go down. He got starched by this guy Luque. So I'd go Luque in this fight. Then we have Rickson Gracie's son, Kron Gracie, who's 4-0 as a professional, fighting for the first time since 2016 against Bruce Leroy himself, Alex Caceres. Caceres, obviously on the feet, he's going to have the advantage, but Kron's such a competitor. I heard a story, I think it was on the Rogan podcast, about a grappling match between Kron Gracie and Gary Tonin, the two of the greatest current jiu-jitsu practitioners on the competitive circuit. And Kron was almost subbed by Tonin in the first half, and then went to his corner in the break, talked to his father, came out. It was like a completely different fighter, and finished Tonin, I want to say, with a rear naked choke, or it might have been a heel hook, I'm not sure. But I would say, go Gracie on this one. Even if Caceres gives him trouble, Kron is the type of guy he'll think outside the box like his father always did. Rickson, he'll pull guard, he'll do something tricky. I'm saying Kron by submission at some point in the 3 rounds. Then we have Cynthia Calvillo versus Courtney Casey Sanchez. I don't think Sanchez is on the same level as Calvillo at all. Calvillo's lone loss in their 7-1 record is against Carla Esparza, who turned back the clock and just fucked her, lay and pray style, that Joanna stopped us from having to see every couple months when she beat the inaugural women's strawweight champion and took the belt from her, because that's what Esparza does best. She takes you down, holds you down, doesn't really have the power to finish you. But she was able to hold down Calvillo to a decision and even land a couple of impressive strikes. But like I said, Calvillo is well above Sanchez in my opinion. I think Calvillo wins this fight either by submission or decision. And then your co-main event, you have Paul, the Irish Dragon Felder, taking it on James Vick. This one is tough. It is tricky. You have Vick, who's got the reach advantage, but that could be not counterintuitive, but that could hurt him, because we know how much Paul Felder loves to spin. That spinning kick, spinning elbow, so that reach might help that attack. So what we have to think about here is how invested is Felder. We know he's doing a lot of events on commentary, so he's got one foot out the door. I think that hurts him a lot. Vick's only losses are from TKOs, so that's another chip in the corner to Felder here. It's another toss-up. I'm leaning towards Vick just because Felder got beat up really bad in the Perry fight, his last one out there. He fought 3 times in 2017 and went 3-0. His lone fight in 2018, Perry showed up, and that's when we were all surprised. Perry completely changed his game plan. He looked like a better, more technical fighter and picked them apart. They also, Felder, to give him some credence, a lot of reports were that he broke his elbow on a spinning attack. But I want Felder to win it, but I think James Vick gets it done by decision. Unless, like I said, there's always a chance because of the reach advantage that Vick has that Felder can use that and catch him with a spinning kick. Then in the main event, Cain Velasquez versus Ngannou. Ngannou looks very positive at the weigh-ins, very confident. I mean, we know Cain's been out since 2016. The UFC 200 show was his last appearance where he beat Travis Brown. Just the most wrestling we'd ever seen. Other wrestling-based. Cain went in there, low pick, took him down, pounded him out at the end. But unless Ngannou has been training wrestling nonstop against some top-level guys that none of us have heard about, this training I'm hypothetically speaking of, then, I mean, this is Velasquez's fight unless Francis catches him. Chael Sonnen made a very good point last Friday, saying that Cain is going to give Ngannou a chance to win this fight by starting it and standing with him for a couple minutes, maybe a minute. But I don't think so. I think Cain's overcome so much, and he needs to win so badly that he even said that if I don't feel I performed at my best, win, lose, or draw, then I'm going to retire. So I think Cain's going to come out there and shoot immediately, take Ngannou down, and then balls in Ngannou's court. What can he even try to stand up? Is that going to be all she wrote for him right then and there, like with the Bigfoot fights with Cain? But then there's always the chance that Ngannou catches him with that right hand to the temple, a la Junior Dos Santos, if Cain does roll the dice and decide to stand with him, because they're both Western-style boxers in their striking department. So, yeah, you know, safe bet Velasquez on this. It's his fight to lose. There's always the chance that Cain catches him, but that Ngannou catches Cain, but Cain can take that chance right out by just shooting early, taking him down. Because unless something's drastically changed, Ngannou, even if he tries to stuff, it's going to end up on his back. So that's the fight card tonight, the inaugural UFC on ESPN. Just throwing some miscellaneous news. You have Anderson Silva coming off a great showing where he lost a unanimous decision against Israel on Adesanya Stylebender. Stylebender now is probably going to sit and wait for Whitaker to recover from the hernia surgery that pulled him from the main event. Yeah, Kevin Gastelum, the would-have-been opponent, walking around with a belt that I think he bought at a fucking merch stand, saying that he's the true champion. So I don't know if they're going to try to have Israel take on Gastelum if Whitaker's out that long, or if all three of them are just going to wait till Whitaker's healthy, Gastelum gets a first crack, and Israel gets a second crack at the winner. But Silva expressed after the fight that he wants a rematch with Nick Diaz in Curitiba, Brazil at UFC 236, I think it is, May 11th. 236, 237, something like that. Right immediately after that, McGregor went on Twitter saying, if Anderson fights Nick Diaz, I'll fight Nate Diaz in the same card. The next day, Nick immediately refuted it, saying that he, quote, quote, I don't want to hurt anybody, I just want to party. So it seems like Diaz versus Silva 2 isn't going to happen, let alone a Diaz return. I mean, he was rumored earlier this year to be fighting at 235 against Jorge Masvidal and basically walked away halfway through negotiations. So Masvidal will take on Neil Magny at the event. From an inside source, I'm hearing that Cowboy Cerrone versus McGregor is all but signed. They're aiming for July, and it'll be for the interim lightweight title. I'm not sure how that's going to go, because some people are saying Khabib's going to do the community service and do 6 months suspension, or he's going to do 9 months, or he's going to sit out a whole year until his teammates are off their suspension from jumping in the cage and hitting McGregor. So if he waits a year, then we'll get the interim title fight. If he does the anti-bullying PSA, he'll get 6 months. He'll return as soon as Conor can, which is early April. So then I don't know why the hell they would have an interim title fight. But if he sits out a year, that may be the final opportunity for Donald Cerrone to hoist some gold, because at range, I mean, he's the perfect guy to catch Conor with a head kick. And if Conor gives him a little trouble on the feet, he's got a very underrated guard. I could see Cowboy submitting the Irishman. But that's all the news for the moment. Like I said at the beginning of this, so we're restructuring. The Unknown Experts will return in some form, and I'll keep you guys posted. It'll be soon, though. Soon. And so enjoy the fights. This is Mike, as always. Peace out.